So hi guys, we'll be going live shortly. So we're just waiting for a few more people to come through. Yes, so we should be going live in the next 1 minute or so. So whoever is on, we can get started with that. And whoever joins us afterwards, well and good, we'll wait for them to meet us wherever we are. All right. So I believe the time has reached. Let's get started with immediate effect. So can you guys hear me clearly? So Lois, anyone can you guys hear me? All right. Okay, so today's live is about Facebook ads for beginners. For many of the business owners across the world, especially here in Africa, with ourselves in a situation where we don't necessarily have big budgets to deploy on Facebook ads like the rest of the world does. Yet at the same time, we want to get some sort of return out of Facebook. I mean, personally, I believe this is still one of the most effective modules of advertising your business. I mean, it's the only place where you can literally wake up and put $5-10 ads, and by the end of the day, you have $100 out. I mean, it gives us such little cost to entry and a lot of space for us to wiggle around and make more money if you know what exactly to do when it comes to this world. However, despite how much return there is another category of people who swear to Facebook being the worst possible place they could put their money. But many of these people, I think it stems from them not actually understanding how to use Facebook to get the best results. Yeah, this webinar is going to be sorting out exactly that. We're going to just help you understand how do you get the best results out of Facebook advertising. We're going to dig through several topics like, number one, how do you exactly set up your Facebook advertising goals? Now, this is going to touch on issues like how much should you invest in Facebook advertising. It's going to touch on other issues like how much return could you anticipate. It just helps you give you a heads up view of, okay, so here's how much I should be putting in, and this is what I anticipate to get out if I do this much. And if I want to scale that higher, this is what exactly I need to do, and here's what I need to watch out for as I'm scaling. So that first category will be about the actual planning. And category number two is going to be which kinds of ads are best suited for your business. For this case, we'll be talking to we'll be showing you exactly, depending on the business type you're in. If you're in e-commerce, which type of ads should you be deploying? If you're in the B2B space, Facebook is still a very powerful tool. So how exactly do you configure this for your business specifically? So that's what session number 2 will be about. And session number 3 will be about how do you analyze what has happened to help you know what next on your next round of investment. Because you don't just put money and leave it. It's I put some money, I visualize and analyze how that has performed, then I scale up from there slowly by slowly. So this webinar is going to touch those 3 departments one by one. I'm actually going to be sharing my screen once in a while so that you know that, okay, this is where we are and this is how this works. But before I get started, my name is Kenneth Ntende. I am the CEO of MonkeyPesa. And MonkeyPesa is an all-in-one platform for sales, customer support, and marketing. We're building this through this year to be an all-round tool that you can use for your entire business, such that if there is data sales, if your sales team is wide, they can use this as a centralized place to manage their entire sales process. If your marketing team can also use this as a centralized platform to track whatever is happening in line with their marketing. So yes, with that out of the way, let's get started. All right, who is this webinar for? Now, this webinar is for business people. We look at businesses of all sizes, whether you're a B2B startup, whether you're a B2C company. This is a very good webinar for you. we're going to touch different pointers to see how it can be helpful to business owners and marketers, and help touch some of their pain points that they might have and get those out of the way. For topic number 1, what we'll be doing, we'll talk about how do you set up your goals. And to help us better achieve the best results for that, I'm going to share my screen in the background. Just a second. So just let me know, in case you can't see the screen, you can leave a question in that comment section, in the Q&A section behind on the side of the screen, or at the bottom of the phone if you're attending this using a phone. Yes, so guys, can you clearly see my screen? So anyone leave a thumbs up to give me insight on if you have access, if you can see what's happening in my screen, behind my screen. All right. Okay, so now before you begin any form of Facebook advertising, it's important you actually get into this understanding what you want to achieve at the end. But there are very many people who just scroll through their Facebook and they see some button, advertise, and click that and just follow that process without any insight on what exactly they're trying to achieve and how exactly they're going to achieve that. And I believe this is the worst way for you to get results out of Facebook. The first thing you need to do is actually create an understanding of, okay, what exactly are we trying to achieve at the end of the day? Now, depending on the size of business you are, there are different ways that you can get business out of Facebook. There are scenarios where, take an example, you're selling an e-commerce product, and yours is largely displaying this product for the people, and people come and purchase. In that situation, your first goal would be to ascertain, number 1, how much money am I supposed to spend? How many messages do I anticipate to get if I'm to spend this amount of money? Number 3, how much is it costing me? What is a comfortable amount of money for me to spend per message that has been brought in? So these are some of the pointers that every business person needs to look at, because yes, messages might be coming in, but you need, before you even dive into any message campaign going out, it's important you understand what's a comfortable amount for us to acquire a lead. Say if I'm selling an e-commerce product and the e-commerce product costs hypothetically $20, would $2 be comfortable enough for you to an amount for you to acquire a lead? And with that in your mind, it gives you an understanding of, you know what, in this situation, given that I'm spending this amount of money, it's not wow for me, or actually this works for our business. So what I recommend most of the time is come up with something as simple as this. I usually don't like complicating my things, whereby you say, okay, I have different kinds of adverts, of which I'm still going to talk about each and every one of these types of adverts, but I wanted us to address the goals first. So yes, depending on how exactly you acquire your leads or your customers, put aside and okay, now my leads come from Facebook as an example. My leads visit through a website, or my leads come through the leads form. So that's really dependent on your business. If you're in B2C, you're selling shoes, messages might be the best because that's quite direct forward. If you're selling a CRM software, like in our case, in some scenarios, we have a mix. We're encouraging web visits. We're encouraging people to submit a form on Facebook itself. And in some cases, we even get leads. So just brainstorm with your team and understand, okay, what is our way of getting leads, and have that clarified. Now, after you have identified that, say, for example, we get messages and we attract a number of web visits in order for us to get leads, then begin saying, okay, so we want to get messages. How much money are we willing to to spend in order to get messages? How many messages do we want to get within a day? If you're in the African market, take an example. If you're in Kenya, the cost of messages varies from about $0.5 to $1.5. meaning if you have $10, you anticipate about 8 messages coming in. Have that at the back of your mind as you're doing this planning, just to give you insight on what exactly should be. You don't undercut yourself or overspend. So for this scenario, let me just say we want to spend an ad budget of $20 per day. In the $20, say each message is going to cost us $2.5. So we anticipate a total of 8 messages a day. I left this tab free so that you know that in the scenario that this has not, you still use it to track to see how many messages you're getting in a day. I also made this a daily spend because there are scenarios where you're advertising for 10 days, there are scenarios where you're spending for 30 days. But if you want to advertise for the entire month, you can convert this to the entire monthly spend as well. The conversion is of these 8 people, that I have attracted, how many of them have actually given us some kind of result financially. Then the cost of acquisition is, this is what I anticipated, 8. Of this, how much is it actually costing me? Because sometimes I anticipated to get 8 people from $20, giving me a cost of acquisition of about $2.5. But sometimes this is a bit lower. It might be $2 per message. It might be $1.5 per message. If that changes, it's also important that you keep tracking that, because there are scenarios where at the beginning your ads are $1, then 3 months down the road, each message is costing $3. So track that diligently so that you know how much it's costing you and how much growth you're witnessing on grounds of that. So the same thing applies whether you're doing web visit campaigns. You track and know that, okay, this is how much you want to spend. This is how many visits we anticipate to get based on what the standards on Facebook are. These are the number of actual visits we got, and of the visits that we got, depending on what action you're asking people to take, it could be someone buying something off your website or whatever action you intend to take. Try and also track how many of these have converted on grounds of the Facebook ads. So the same applies. So goal setting is just that simple, just a tool to enable you help understand what are your expectations for this given campaign that you're running. So so far, does this make sense for everyone, or is there anyone that needs any further clarity on this? You can leave your questions in the Q&A. I will have a look at that at the end of this training. All right. So now the second part that we need to look at is what actually happens inside Facebook ads themselves. And keep in mind that when I say Facebook ads, I'm talking of all the ads under the Meta platform. So this could be Instagram, this could be Facebook itself, this could be WhatsApp ads. It's really all the same. I'm just using Facebook as the generic term, but it's for all its family of applications. Now, the second type of ads that you need to understand is the second concept we need to understand is the actual types of ads that you can run for your business. Guys, am I still audible enough? Is this quite clear so far? Just leave a thumbs up so that I know I'm still speaking to someone. All right. Okay, so going forward, it's also important that we understand the different types of adverts out there. The first thing you need to understand about Facebook ads is Facebook is like the normal street. I mean, just imagine yourself, you're walking down the road and all of a sudden someone comes down to you and says, you know what, I want you to buy this shoe from me, or I want you to buy this pass from me. Sometimes it gets a bit intrusive for it to be managed that way. Most of the time what happens is very many people get caught up with this entire ideology of, now since I'm advertising on Facebook, the only thing I'm going to do is I'm of my product or talk about my service, and people are automatically going to buy my service. Now, Facebook came up with a bit of a standard of how best to advertise your products. Now I'm going to just show you a demo. If you guys can see my screen, just leave a like so you can clearly see what is happening in the background. Now, before you even begin running any adverts, you need to understand that because it would be a bit intrusive, even for your case, if someone, you've never met them, they've never talked to you, they've never got any kind of value, just begins telling you that buy this from me, buy this from me, buy this from me. What happens is most people end up doing that. Then they wonder, why aren't my ads converting? It's the main reason for for the lack of conversion is because you're literally advertising for the first time and you have not in any way courted your person into trusting you, and you've not spared any budget towards what value am I going to give this person so that this person trusts me enough to buy from me the first time, the second time, the third time. Most people just dive into buy from me. In fact, for our market at least, you'll see most of the ads you're going to see. Someone wants you to buy their shoes, just buy my shoes. No one comes in to say, you know what, this is actually some interesting fact about this shoe. Have a look at it. Anyway, so to give you the best practice for the kinds of ads that you deploy, I'm just going to go back into my one of my demo accounts that I use for Facebook ads. So there are three types of adverts. They are what they call awareness campaigns. Then they are what they call consideration campaigns. Then they are what they call conversion campaigns. Those three categories are put as a standard for a reason. Awareness campaigns, whether you go to Google, whether you go to Pinterest, these are the same categories of adverts that you're always going to find. The awareness ads, the consideration ads, and the conversion ads. So the reason these standards have been put forward is because the internet is kind of getting like the streets. It's important for you to earn your trust of any customer before you even ask them to purchase. Now, what happens in most scenarios is it is important that you create advert types for each and every one of these categories. Now, let me begin with this first category, which are the awareness ads. Now, the awareness ads are intended to just drive some kind of awareness for people who are in your industry to get to know that you exist. As an example, if you're a lawyer and you want to sell some legal services, it's important that people gain some kind of, so what I recommend is for your law firm to drive some kind of awareness, create an advertising campaign teaching people, how do you register your company in Uganda? You're not necessarily selling, you're not in any way intruding on anyone's social experience, but you're triggering someone who wants to register their company to pay attention to you. As an example, if you are selling a kitchen equipment, create a free resource teaching people, here is the guide to how best to organize your kitchen. Like I said, you're driving awareness, meaning your job initially is to lure this person in. The best way to lure people in is by creating resources that appeal to the problems that they have. If I want to register my land title, for example, and you're a law firm and you want to sell to me, it would be much harder for me to trust you if you just walked up to me and said, we can help you register. Whereas on the contrary, if you give me something, give a step-by-step guide on here is how you can register your company or your land title or whatever property, I first go through this, and this is what leads me to now pay attention to your firm. It's a much more effective strategy, and the people that deploy this kind of ads tend to get more conversion once they put together consideration ads and conversion ads. So like I said, put aside a small budget. So take an example, you want to advertise with $20 a day, use $1, $2, drive some brand awareness. It's very cheap. You reach so many people, and you reach a much wider network. And ideally look at it as this is your net which drives people's attention towards you without you forcing a product down their throats. So yes, that's it about awareness ads. If there's anything that you would want me to clarify on, please just go ahead and leave any question here. I will respond to that immediately and we can proceed. All right, so the next type of adverts is what they call the consideration adverts. Now, consideration adverts are predecessors, recommendably the predecessors to awareness ads. After you have driven some kind of awareness, your next step is to see, and now let me suggest some of my products to see if this person is interested. I'm going to use the same example I gave you initially. I ran some kind of article or a video talking about how to register your business in Uganda. And on that video, it had 80,000 people that watched the video within the first week. Now, of those 80,000 people, that's what I would use to target that second category. After that, I know that of these 80K people, now let me create a consideration campaign. I know that this person watched my video on how to create a business. So let me create a message ad telling them, if you need help registering your business, please leave us a message. Or if I want them to visit a certain landing page on my website, it is for them to try and consider your product, some kind of awareness to them. So yes, it comes in different formats depending on how you usually acquire a lead. Like I said, all these channels are just tools for you to acquire leads. I mean, if it's lead, someone gives you their name, their email, and you reach out to them. If it's a message, same thing applies. Someone drops you a DM, so get their names, get their emails, and actually reach out to them. Traffic is the same. If you lead someone down to your site, literally give them a call to action, give them a reason to give you a name and email so that you can continuously market to them after. It's important that whatever direction you choose to take, find a way of getting information off Facebook onto your own channels. For our case specifically, I'm going to give you an example for MonkeyPesa. If you visit the website monkeypesa.com, we have a section where we give out free resources. Now, as an example, we have what they call a marketing handbook, the 2022 marketing handbook. In fact, I'm also going to add a resource on content you can put out on your social media for the next 30 days for free. So if you'd like to access that for free, we make then we give you the form for free. But it creates some kind of symbiotic relationship where now because now this person has viewed you from the brand awareness campaigns, they are more willing to leave you with a few details of, you know what, I don't mind. If I want to get the social media calendar, land them on that page, they will leave you with all the details that you need. So this just look at it as every consideration ad is intended to bring a lead closer to you. Whoever is interested, these are the kinds of ads that you would want to run. Okay, so then the third category of ads is what they call the conversion adverts. Now, conversion adverts are more purchase intent driven, meaning you want people to buy your product today. All right, so someone left a question. All right, so yes, so Fiona, let me just put you on shortly so you can ask the question. And I get that clarified. You can respond to that. I've allowed you to talk, so just push that out so I get to respond to your question before we go too far in. Yes, Fiona, you can go right ahead. Okay, Fiona, I can't seem to hear a thing. Okay, yeah, Fiona, in the meantime, I'm going to proceed. Maybe we can have a chat afterwards because we can't seem to hear a thing. Let me proceed in the meantime. Or if you can speak, you can still ask. All right. So the third category of ads, this is conversion based, meaning you're driving people to a specific intention to make a purchase for something. If you're in the world of e-commerce, for example, these kinds of ads we are discounting this product X by 30%, but this offer is only valid for today if you click this advert. Something like, we are going to register your business on your behalf. If you are a law firm and you're selling, the kinds of adverts here are, for example, we have this law firm X, and if you make a purchase today, we will charge you 30% less. So this is more driven towards rushing the person to take specific action. In terms of cost, these are relatively more expensive, so you need to have gone through the awareness ads and consideration ads, and make sure that by the time you're pushing conversion ads, these ads are only seen by the people who are most interested in what you're doing. And the only way you can guarantee that the person has utmost interest is if you have seen them in the pipeline of awareness and consideration, and now it's time for them to actually make the purchase. Yes. So in terms of categorization, the three types of adverts, they are relatively the same, because even conversion ads still lead to the website, but these should lead to the exact page where people make a purchase from. As an example, if I were going to the Sandy's home store page, I land on the page where I'm purchasing said product X. If I'm going to your WhatsApp catalog or your Facebook catalog, I'm landing on the exact product that you're selling, so that you can easily track the conversion of whatever you're selling. So yes, in terms of just the types of ads, just to give you a better insight, it's awareness, consideration, and patterns. If you need further clarification on those, you can feel free to reach out after this. I'm going to leave my contacts there. You can DM me on WhatsApp. We can still do a one-on-one meeting, and I take you through each and every one of these specifically to see how it would work custom to your business. It's absolutely free. All right. One final thing before we can proceed. There is one more thing that we need to address. This is largely to do with conversions. This is a demo account. It's something they call a Facebook pixel. Now, Facebook needs to understand how much you're converting depending on their ads. Now, usually, what happens is they provide some kind of conversion setting. This is a little more technical, which you can install on your website to help you track if the ads the traffic Facebook is giving you is converting. As an example, for our blog, we use something we call Wix. Now on Wix, Facebook gave us a conversion tracking pixel that we use. You can just Google, the first thing that comes on your Google Facebook tracking pixel will be, this Facebook tracking pixel. So once you click that, it drives you to a page and it gives you some kind of tracking code. Now this code is what you install on your website. And why this is very, very important is because it gives you the ability to track what is happening on your website based on Facebook ad results. As an example, if Facebook has given you 10 people, it would want to know that of these 10 people, have the guys that went to your website reached the desired page that you want. Maybe you took them to a page of a product. The 10 page after the product was a checkout page. Then after checkout, there is a payment confirmation page. So that's the role of the pixel, just to help you track the experience of what is happening right from the beginning to the end of the customer experience. So we're working on something similar too for MonkeyPesa. So we'll leave it available for you so that you know that, okay, this specific traffic came from Facebook, and here are the kinds of results that Facebook as a platform resulted to for your business. So don't forget to set that up. If you need further exploration on that, just feel free to reach out. We can after this webinar, we can still take you through that. Yes. And then the final section that we have to go through is the section that deals with what happens after I have run a specific form of advert, which is the analytics section. Now, for my analytics, I know most people are not too marketing driven and analytics driven. I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. So I put up this file on the side just to give you a bit of context of how you should be tracking your goals and the experience afterwards. Keep in mind that the price of Facebook ads keeps changing, meaning if I'm advertising in week 1, week 2, and week 3, that by week 3, week 4, how much it's costing me to acquire each lead or each visit or each message might have gone up. So it's important that you keep tracking those metrics one by one. As an example, if your desired metric was I'm looking for Facebook, I'm looking for messages on Messenger or my Instagram DM, at the beginning you might be spending $20 a day. Now, after that period of time, maybe first week, you'll continuously get on average 8 messages. Track it for week 1. Make sure you track it on week 2. Come back at the end of the day and say, I'm spending my $20. Am I getting on average 8 messages? Some days it will be 9, some days it will be 7, but on most times it will be 8. So if you reach week 4 and week 4, the messages have now dropped, and instead of getting 8 messages, you're getting 4 messages. It means your cost of acquiring each lead has gone up. Meaning, if you're selling your product $10 and you're only getting 4 leads, it may not, that advert you're working on may not be worth it. So it's important that you track some of these analytics. I'm leaving it very plain for you. I'm just giving you the core things that you need, so that if it's important for your business, you know what exactly you need to do. Same thing applies if maybe you are pushing people to your website and you are spending $10, you're getting 800 visits, for example, and by week 6, that same advert is bringing you 200 people. It means the cost of the ads, of the web visit ad, is now too expensive, that it may now make sense for you to adjust that campaign. And I see people making this one mistake of, you're running this ad, 6 months down the road, the ad is still running. And because they're not tracking the effectiveness of each ad, they're ending up losing more money step by step. And over time, it affects your business. I mean, if initially you are paying only $2 to get someone and that person bought, and now you're paying $8 to get a person, it means it's eating up on the margin you would have made. I mean, it's $2. So if my product is $20, I'm making $18 in profitability. And then if now my ad is costing me $8 to acquire a single person, that means I'm only getting $12, which is a huge impact on your business, and you can't afford. Now, it's important that you track these metrics. I'm going to leave this template. It's very template, more in depth for the marketers and other business geeks. I could still share something more in depth, but as a default point, just keep tracking those metrics. Understand what was my goal, what was I trying to achieve, and of what I was trying to achieve, how was that actually performed at the end of the day. After you have understood that, have those analytics in a centralized place. So have those analytics in a centralized place, somewhere where you keep track. Recommendably, track this every week. Don't wait for an entire month to go. At worst, 2 weeks, because Facebook and Instagram and all these advertising platforms keep changing them over and over again. All right. So now the final section of this webinar is going to be what is the best use scenario for the ads that you're setting up. Of how do you exactly set up these ads? Because most people don't actually know how to set this up. For starters, the best platform for you to put Facebook ads is their default advertising platform. I know it looks a bit scary for the beginning, but don't Instagram through Facebook, don't click that button of boost now on Facebook. There it gives you a few shortened steps that are not ideal for businesses that actually want to scale. The first place you pass is go through facebook.com/ads manager. Let me just have my VPN on. So that should be the core place that you pass through to access Facebook ads. Usually, if your account is relatively new, they take you through some approval process. They take you, but just go through that initial setup stuff. And once you're done with that, that's when you can be able to sort out some of these adverts. Second best practice, you have to also keep in mind that ads have different performance. Sometimes you might go and post a single advert and people don't like that advert. That's why it's important to have different variations of adverts. Just to give you I'm going to say this is campaigns for March. Ad set, give that ad set any name. Let me say March ad set. When you say my ads, this is product 1. So for this case, I'm going with an awareness campaign. Now, under this awareness campaign, I have the ability to add several adverts under one ad campaign, meaning I have one ad campaign, one ad set, but just to give people options of what I'm selling. I mean, if I was selling chicken, kitchen apparels, sometimes I might be selling spoon sets, I might be selling a knife set, I might be selling table linen, I might be selling several products. So what people do in most scenarios, you end up posting only one advert, and in case people haven't liked that advert, you imagine that Facebook doesn't really work. But what happens is because you're only posting one product, you're not converting as much. So Facebook allows you to put several ads, and all those ads would work under one budget. So if my budget is $20 and that's all I want to spend on my conversion ads that month, I can put as many adverts as I want under that $20. So I'm allowed to, after that, step number 2, don't forget to optimize your budget, because you need to adjust this to something that is sale. Let's say $10, let's say $20 for this. And that can also be adjusted either daily or lifetime. I'm going to use daily for this scenario. If you have versions of adverts, I'm meaning version 1 and version 2, and you want to test 2 different images to see what works better, that's when you use this A/B test. But let me disable that for now in this scenario. So let me go ahead. Next step is you want to choose the audience. Now, there are different ways of setting up audiences. The first thing the easier way is you could, of course, go ahead and choose audiences based on your interests. Maybe I want people in Kenya, or I want people in South Africa. I'm going to show you both ways. South Africa. Facebook gives you the leeway to even say I want the whole of Africa. Then ads come in from all sorts. Preferably, if you're selling something B2B, target an age range that has a bit of money. So recommendably start from around 24 to about 35, at least for the African market. I know that all the guys have money, but they're not yet familiar with purchasing online. So you want to get as much conversion, at least based on experience over the years. Don't also leave it open that let Facebook reach everyone. You don't want Facebook to reach everyone, because you invest a lot of money on impressions that aren't important to your business. So try and at least piggyback on interests. So this is if you don't have an understanding of what your audience is like. So you can tell people interested in marketing. Okay, literally get suggestions from here. It will give you maybe guys who are interested in customer support, or depending on what it is for your business, you can tag that. So maybe home organizing, if I was selling home merchandise. So depending on what your reality is, just search that so that your adverts are reaching people who have interest in something. I mean, it wouldn't be nice for me to send out my advert and I've sent it to someone who stays in a village somewhere, and it doesn't make sense for me to sell legal services to them. So dumb it down as much as possible so that you reach the best possible person. If you don't already know your category of people that you're reaching out to. However, there is another way of doing this. This is for the scenarios that you don't know your kind of crowd. But for better results, there's what they call a lookalike audience and a custom audience. So I'm just going to create a new lookalike audience for this specific test scenario. Now, what happens is I already have some sources that is Facebook/Instagram already knows. Take an example. I can say for this audience, I want people who have interacted with my Instagram account. I want you, Facebook, to only show my adverts similar to people who have followed us on Instagram or have sent some kind of message to our Instagram account. Yeah, if I were using a website, me choosing this as my source means I want you, Facebook, to show adverts of people who have show this to people who are similar to people who have visited my website. If I'm to go to video, only show this advert to people who have watched my video to a certain length. For this specific scenario, let me use Instagram as a channel. I can say next. It even allows you to choose that what do you want, like okay, this is the page, MonkeyPesa. You can choose that, okay, maybe just show this to people who have saved this advert, or people who have sent me a message, or people, anything depending on what your interest is. But the more you can centralize this, the better for you, because you don't waste impressions on things that don't make sense. So you can say maybe only show this to people who have sent messages to us. Then you say this audience is guys who are similar, guys who have sent us messages. So you can define it as well, in whatever way you see fit when you create your audience. Now, after you have created that custom audience, don't forget to create a lookalike audience, because a lookalike audience is like the number of people who are similar to that criteria that you have chosen. This could be people who have visited your page, so just let it show you people who are similar to those people. It even gives you an estimation of how many people could this possibly be, so that you know that, okay, the crowd is actually not that small. So the more customization you can do, the better for your business, because don't forget that every time someone views your advert, you're spending money. So you would rather someone sees your advert twice when they're interested in what you're selling than for someone else with absolutely no interest in your business to see those adverts. So that is the role of this targeting. So after you have finished that targeting, you can go ahead and actually put in the artworks that you want to put. So simply upload and create that ad. It will allow you to upload an image or upload a video. All right, so sorry about that. It will allow you to upload some kind of image. So whatever. This is now just about your creative. So put the video on whatever you need. And once you're done, it even gives you a look of how exactly this will appear. You're also allowed to choose, where do I want my advert to go. Sometimes you can centralize and say, do you know what? Only show my adverts on Instagram, or only show my adverts just on Facebook, or both. Or let the action point be sending me information to my WhatsApp. So depending on what you're choosing, then after that you can publish. I'm not going to publish this because this is just my personal account. So after that, you're still allowed, you can create another advert under the same campaign. Just add and that will help you create the best results. So yes, like I was saying, for the best results, know that okay, my budget is $20, but in that $20 budget, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 ads running. As an example, let me just use an existent campaign here. If you're to check one of my adverts, one of my past ads, you'll see that under this ad that is running, we'll have product 1, product 2, product 3, product 4. And if you want, you can even add several other 10 products. And each of these, at the end of every week, you're still supposed to review and see, okay, so how is this bottles? Bottles are one of the products that are being sold. So how much have we spent? How many impressions have we got? How many messages have we got? Go to the next. Do the same and analyze it. Okay. Here we spent $10, but based on this, the conversion is extremely bad. So you can disable that from right here. Go to the next product and do the same. Analyze and see whether the reality is based on that. How many people are being reached? What is the conversion like based on the period that you choose for that ad to be seen? So this is the relevance of this. And in case you need any further clarification on this, just feel free to leave a message. I'm going to leave my contacts here. You can reach out to me directly on WhatsApp. So we can expound on any further questions that you have. All right. So in a nutshell, the hour is almost done. So that is all that we had for today. In case anyone has any questions, I have left my contacts here. You can simply drop me a message before this webinar ends. And if this was helpful, don't forget to first go and leave us a follow on the MonkeyPesa page of Instagram. But that's all from me, Fox, today. I'll also be uploading this onto YouTube. So in case there's anything else you want to review, you can just go directly to YouTube. You'll check that out. That's on MonkeyPesa. That's all from me, Fox. If there's anything else, we can just continue that over WhatsApp or any other social platforms. That's all from me, Fox. Bye-bye. And I'll give it a minute in case anyone has any questions. You can still leave them there. If not, I will close this in the next 1 minute. That's all from me, Fox.